Today's defender tier list is gonna be quite long, so let's get straight into it. If you guys are new around here, make sure to subscribe, nearly at 17k. And if you enjoy the tier list videos, make sure to leave a like. Are you fed up of coming against God Squad game in and game out?
What?
If so, make sure to head over to u7buy.com using the link in the description below. And don't forget to use code RAN at checkout for an extra little discount. We'll start off with Acuna. Now to start, some of these players will be in the wrong position because it's kind of hard to gauge the whole list off the bat. For Acuna, I'm thinking A tier. Probably leaning towards the lower end of that A tier, especially with his weak foot and his pace not being 90 plus for a fullback. Hurts him a little bit, but obviously crazy everywhere else from dribbling, defending, physical, and passing. Next, got a Kanji. I'm going to chuck him in A tier as well. I think he got a really good upgrade on this card. Just fast, physical, and great at defending, but also his dribbling is always quite good in FIFA, and I think that's really underrated. And he has the height, if I recall correctly. So yes, he is 6'2", can pass on his weak foot very well. Look at that dribbling. Beautiful. Beautiful for a center back. Really nice, because remember, agility and balance affects you when you're moving him without the ball as well. Okay, so high reactions as well. So like having high agility and balance can let you track the attacker a lot better as well. So it's actually quite an underrated stat. Speaking of somebody with good agility and balance, we got Alaba. Now I'm gonna chuck his wants to watch into B tier. Just not an amazing card for me anymore. I think that pace at only 80, while being small, couple that together, does make him kind of a weak card. However, the team of the year nominee is going to be in that A tier. Just a bit more of everything. Just pretty much a double inform upgrade from the 87. It's kind of all it really is. No special kind of stat boost. It's just a linear progression. Just a great card. I think we'll put him at the top of A tier for now. He probably does beat out that Akanji for me just marginally because of how ridiculously good he is as a ball playing center back. If you actually look at like all his dribbling stats, the thing is, if you're getting like team press or something, like look at these stats. Look how easy that is to dribble out and just calmly start the counterattack. For only 46k as well. Now onto this Trent. Rule breaker Trent used to be probably S tier, I'll be honest. Now he's gonna probably be sitting at the end of A tier. I'll put him above Acuna. I'll rejig this a little bit around. Good card, pretty solid. Just at this stage in the game, not quite gonna be that S tier. Actually, we'll put him on top of A for now. Is still a really good card. Got it all really, but just nothing too special. Not that physical, and his dribbling still like it's not how I want it to be for a fullback. 80-80 across agility and balance. No, thank you. I'll pass on that one. Next up, we got a Tal, who I've used for probably 200-300 games. Used him a lot. I'll take him over Acuna, but I'll be honest, this card isn't as amazing as I would want it to be. The defending and physical does feel a little low and can kind of hurt him. Does like kind of get phased through in some tackles. He's far from a rock solid right back, so for that reason we're gonna keep him kind of lower end of A tier. Next we got this Aspie, who I'm gonna put at the top of B tier. A solid card, just not that special for fullback. Solid, nothing exceptional at all. Next got Benucci and Bartman. I'm actually gonna put them both in D tier for now, simply because 75 pace center back, in my opinion, pretty unusable unless you're literally sitting so deep. True balls, huge, have been all year. I feel like they're even a bit better nowadays because people are opting for true balls instead of driven pass because of the nerf. So you got that issue. 75 pace. Nobody wants to be using that in game, and it won't end well in my opinion. Next up, we got Inform Cancelo. I'm going to put in C tier, and then the Champions League one in B tier. Once again, C tier one, you know, a solid card, but just a little slow and nothing amazing. This Cancelo is top of. Actually, yeah, we'll put him Ace. I do still prefer Tal slightly, but this Cancelo, you know, just that extra pace is just enough. The extra dribbling, extra defending. It is quite a nice upgrade on the 87, and really he's just a complete player. Like with the 4-star this year as well, just a really solid card. And then, oh, my favorite. It's actually my favorite card on the game right now. Team of the year. Cancelo. Now, for me, I did it in the Team of the Year tier list, and people were not happy with me putting him above Kante. But I don't know, man. I'm still. If I can only have Kante or Cancelo in that midfield spot, I think I'm taking Cancelo. Now, Kante Team of the Year is incredible. Don't get me wrong, but Cancelo can just do it all, and I feel like it's easier to replace that Kante than to replace Cancelo. Right? There's no box to box that's on Cancelo's level for like less than like 2+ mil. Whereas, you know, Team Year Kante, not only is he like 3+ mil or whatever, like he's great, but I feel like there's a lot of players you can put in. Like even the future stars, Chimeni, he's what, like 1 mil? And that card is amazing as well. So I feel like there's a lot more options for replacements as that kind of defensive center mid. But that's just my opinion. Of course, all these tier lists are just my opinion, so feel free to disagree. But yeah, anyways, back to this tier list. Cancelo. I think is he the best defender on the game? Team of the Year Marquinhos is close. I will admit. Anyways, next we got Diego Carlos, who I'm going to slot into B tier, just above Alaba here, just a bit behind the times. You know, really solid card, just not amazing. And because of the power curve, especially after Team of the Year, he's just not getting close. This Chalobah, I reckon, is actually really, really, really good. I'm going to put him... I'm actually going to put him here, kind of near the top of A tier. Let's just talk about this card for a little bit. It is a new card as well, so we do like to look at the new cards. Now, his agility and balance on this card as opposed to a CDM is a lot lower, so you kind of got hit by that. But don't forget, okay, 6'3", good pace, great defending and physical, great, right? So it really is a good pass, and he's got the good long passing and short passing, which are the 2 passing stats that matter on a center back. So I think really solid card, definitely going A tier for me, and he's free, like even better. It's got Christian. He's just gonna be slightly better than Diego Carlos, but still a pretty just average player. You could still definitely use him, but wouldn't be anything amazing. Next we got Collins. I'm actually gonna put him in S tier. I'm actually gonna do it, I'll be honest. This Collins card, if you know, you know. Okay, if you know, you know. If you don't, that's your fault. But 90 agility, 84 balance, I love that on my center backs. We got 89 pace, and we still got pretty solid defense and physical. Just an absolute beast. Absolutely phenomenal card. Only 55k. Bundesliga this year is extremely good value, and what a player. Next we got Cornet, incredible left back. I'm gonna put him over here. I'm actually gonna drop Acuna down to B tier. Cornet, a fighter. This is the definition of fighting for the badge. This guy, any header, any tackle, he goes for it, man. I love having him in the team. Really does do it all. I'm actually gonna put him, I'm gonna bump him up a little bit more. We're gonna put him there. Phenomenal card, even this late in the game, even though he came out ages ago, still a great player. Now Kaza, boy do I despise this card and think he's absolutely useless. I'm gonna chuck him at the end of B tier. Oh man, this guy could not make tackle for me. I played with him for like 5 to 10 games. He's never played for me since. I continued to use Kimpembe Gold for literally the next 2 months or month or whatever it was, because of how much I just despise this card. Awful in my books. Next got Cordoba. He is S tier, let's be honest. Still really good card. Definitely falling down that S tier list with all the new cards, but still a great defender nonetheless. Obviously his height is really still hindering him. Next got Playermont Davies, very good card. I'm gonna put top of A tier. I don't think he's quite S tier because defense physical is still a little bit low. Next got this Delict, just another, you know, standard defender, nothing too crazy. Because of his high defense and physical, we'll put him top of B tier. You could maybe put him bottom of A tier, but this lack of pace is obviously just gonna hinder him a little bit and keep him away from that A tier for me anyways. Lane, phenomenal card. I'm putting him S tier. I'm actually putting him S tier. So good. He's just flawless. There's nothing wrong with him. Like, he's the perfect left back in my books. 5-star weak foot as well. Just got it all. Just solid. So good. Good in the air. Good tackling. Good passing. Fast. Strong. Like, it's just got it all. This Dest, high low work rates I'm going to penalize him for, but he still definitely does go here at the top of A tier list. Actually, we'll put him at the end of S. I just don't like the work rates, but he is a very good card. It's got Djalo, who's a bit of a fraud with his kind of tracking runs and stuff, but he's still good, so we'll chuck him in here. Definitely an A tier card still, but yeah, his AI is shocking. Absolutely shocking. Lorenzi, screaming C tier. Just too slow for me for a fullback. Great in midfield. great in midfield, but as a fullback, yeah, he's gonna be in C tier, unfortunately. Gunter, I'm gonna chuck probably like here in B tier. Just like, he's okay. Defense a little low. He's all around like he's solid. He's solid. Let me double check his in games. Let me check it quickly. Yeah, 2-star weak foot attacks and defending not that high. Yeah, we're gonna leave him there. Nothing too crazy. This Gomez is pretty good. Gonna put him here. Wants to watch Hakimi. Still a great fullback. I'll chuck him here. He is now an 87. So I'm ranking the 87 card, which I also have in my team. Yeah, he's actually yeah, I'll put him top of. I prefer the 87 Hakimi to Davies. That's really a personal preference though. They're very similar. Team Hakimi is of course going to go S tier. But I'll be honest, this card is not as good as his stats would say. Honestly, he feels only a little bit better than wants to watch. So if you're struggling for coins, do not spend the coins to go from this wants to watch Team India. Would not recommend. Really not all that. Theo, this is 86, should be his 87. I have his 87 in my team. Pretty good. I'll put him, I actually prefer Davies, so I'll put him behind Davies. Next, got this re-exchange, pretty solid card. Chuck him in A tier as well. I actually think Kane is better. It's just my personal preference. Cole Kimpembe, still a demon. I was hating on him a little bit last defender tier list. Now he has gained my respect again. We'll put him at the top of B tier, but yeah, he's not quite good enough to be A tier, especially nowadays. Plasterman, put at the end of A tier. Pretty solid card, I must say. Actually, we'll bump him up a little bit. I would take him over most of these. I wouldn't take him over Chalobah. Yeah, put him about here. Very solid card. Next, the new Kanate. He did get boosted a fair amount. We'll chuck him. I do think he would be a little bit better than Chalobah, unfortunately. But you know, Chalobah is that free card. So if you're thinking of getting one of them, just do the Chalobah, unless you really need Kanate's links. Koulibaly Headliners is a demon, absolute demon. I'm gonna put him above these as well. I'm actually gonna put him at the top of A tier. Very good card. Now we got Freeze Kunde. Is he better than Kanate and Chalobah? Probably not. Probably drops down the list a bit. I even prefer Gomez as well. I think he's better than Dijallo. And then his Team India nominee is a phenomenal card. So I'm going to chuck him up here just ahead of Hakimi. Behind Koulibaly. Really good card. And I don't even think he's all that expensive, if I recall correctly. If I can spell his name correctly, that would also help. So yeah, 230k. I mean, it's a decent price, but a very strong card. Very strong card. And 5'11 isn't too small. So the height isn't the biggest issue. Skriniar, this card is good, but I'm not the biggest fan of him in the game. So even though stat-wise, you know, he might outbeat some of these players, I think, yeah, that's about a fair representation for him. I don't know, is it his build or something? But in-game, I don't find him that amazing, personally. This card I haven't used, but I assume he's pretty decent, especially with that pace. So we'll chuck him here beside DJ. We got 90 Marquinhos, who's still going to be S tier for sure. Absolutely. Phenomenal card. We'll chuck him, yeah, here. Very good card. And then Team India, Marquinhos is the best defender in the game. Even though I love Cancelo so much, Marquinhos just is that guy, simple as. Also play Marquinhos very effectively in CDM if you wanted to. And then where does gold Marquinhos lie nowadays? I still think he's phenomenal. Probably just behind Chalobah, I'd say. I would imagine this Chalobah card is better. Then we got Mbabu. Beast. Big fan of Mbabu now, to be fair. Still take Kone over them. Oh, I do have a lot of bias for this Kone card. He is very good. Mendy is definitely falling behind the power curve quite a lot. We'll put him on top of BT alongside Mr. Kimpembe. This Militao, I believe, is being even upgraded again. So he's like 85 dribbling now. He's even a bit better at everything else as well. So we're going to chuck him quite high, actually. I'm going to put him above Kunde, but still just below Koulibaly, who Koulibaly really is a borderline S tier card. Then we got this Rannerz, who is very weak in game. So yeah, I'm gonna put him in B tier. I actually think he's not as reliable as Kimpembe and Mendy, so we'll put him behind. I'm gonna drop Gunter actually down here to C tier. This card actually has some really good stats. I assume he's kind of just slightly better than Kanate, but we'll have a little look. What's his drilling balance? Yeah, pretty solid. Got the passing. Got everything you really need. out of a center back. 3-star weak foot, not quite 4-star, but still very solid. And then Niakate is once again just a very similar card. All of these center backs are very, very similar. Then we got the Showdown PK, who not that many people completed. I think a lot of people knew they weren't going to win the game, so he was not going to get that upgrade. But I'll chuck him at the top of B tier. I think just the pace is... I don't think I can really justify him being an A tier with that pace and kind of how clunky he is. He is great in the air, good defense, really strong. So he still has a lot of positives. This new Poro card looks very good, actually. He's probably sitting around ahead of like Hakimi. Have a look at this card. Alright, so it is 3-star, but great pace, good dribbling, like great all around, really, to be honest. Yeah, looks pretty solid. Probably is better than Hakimi and Davies and Theo, to be honest. Just because that defense and physical boost he kind of has on them. Then he has... It's going to have to go in D tier, even though that card is good. Just unfortunately, the pace is just not there. His team of the year, however, with a stupid pace boost, giving him 87 pace. Going to slot him probably... I would go above Hakimi, but slightly worse than Cancelo personally, even though he is a joke. I think Cancelo is just a little bit better. Next, we got Rudiger. Now, the rule break is still a great card. Gonna chuck him here just above Trent. However, Team of the Year nominee is definitely S tier, and I'm putting him just behind that Marquinhos card. This Rudiger, phenomenal card. Thankfully, I got him untradeable. That was very lucky as well, because I had bought him for like 500-600k. Then I got him untradeable, so I did get to sell that card and use the untradeable version. But I think he's absolutely phenomenal. Then we got the Regulion, who since has got a pace upgrade, I believe to 96 pace, but isn't that amazing a defender, to be honest. So we'll put him here just above Mbabu. So we got Lottie, who definitely has fell behind the power curve. We'll chuck him here over by Tal. Just a pretty average player, nothing too crazy. This Robinson is pretty solid. We'll chuck him just behind Marquinhos, as this A column just gets heavily stacked. But, you know, the tiers actually don't matter too much, because remember, the cards are directly in order. So, you know, Cancelo is not quite the same as Koulibaly, as they're opposite ends of the same tier. Then we got Schultz, who's pretty meh, to be honest. I'd say worse than this Cancelo. We'll put him in B tier, just to fill up B tier a little bit. Semedo, very good now, to be honest. Just behind the Cornet, I would say. Luke Shaw, not a fan of this card. Weak foot, plus he's just clunky. And, like, you don't want a clunky fullback, in my opinion. I always think about team press, and team press is not what you want against Luke Shaw. You're just going to lose the ball. So we'll put him in B tier personally, even though defensively he is very good, don't get me wrong. And so we have Sula, who's very good. Put him actually put him at the end of S tier. Very good card. Spinazzola, very good card as well. I do slightly, just a little bit prefer Delane, however. And then we got Soyanku, just another solid center back. You know, there's a lot of these guys that are just solid. We'll put him just behind that Marquinhos. I still think Marquinhos is a little bit better. I always find if cards have like basically the same stats, but one's a gold like standard version and another one's like a boosted one, the gold is better, but that's just my preference. Tagliafico, pretty meh. We'll chuck him in B tier as well. Tapsoba, pretty nice card. Put him up. I'll actually put him, we'll go above Kunde. This card is really nice, by the way. Dive into his stats. Obviously, the pace is good. Now, he is 6'4". Don't forget that. So, 6'4". He's only 20k. Dribbling is not amazing, but defense and physical is very nice. And his passing is very good as well. That's a pretty nice card. Teze is phenomenal, but has that not being a top league tax. So, we'll chuck him slightly. Actually, no, Militao has the upgrade, so he's better than that. Yeah, we'll chuck him there. Keeney, very good left back as well. So he's going to be quite high as well. I'm going to put him above that Poro. Then we got this new Tamiyasu. Probably marginally better than that Poro card. Actually, probably slightly worse because of the lack of dribbling. Then we got Tomori, who's very good. Once he gets that 84 or 86 upgrade, this card is going to be phenomenal. But for now, we'll chuck him just behind Alaba. Actually, just behind the Kanji. This Roy has really fallen off. We'll chuck him just above Aspi. Trippier, just pretty standard card as well. Truck him here as well. Upamecano, acceleration tax is killer. For that reason, he's actually going to be in C tier. Let me show you what I mean by the acceleration tax, right? Look at this. 74 acceleration, but 96 sprint speed. So that 86 pace is such a lie. I don't know how he's that expensive. The acceleration is just awful. And he has low agility as well. Not a fan at all. Similar with Van Dijk, but obviously his defense is way better, so we can keep him probably up here. I would still prefer Kimpembe over him from Van Dijk, which seems a pretty ridiculous statement, but is true. We got Varane, then gold card. I was not that amazed by it this year, but would I take him over Kimpembe? Probably not. Which doesn't make sense on paper, but just in game, I think Kimpembe is better than gold Varane. Then you got flashback Varane, who is very, very good. I, however, do prefer Rudiger. So we're actually going to slot him just behind this Rudiger card. My current centre-back partnership is Rudiger and Varane. Very, very good, but I do think Rudiger is marginally better. And then this Walker doesn't get praised about it enough. I need to show you guys the stat difference with this Walker from his gold card, because people sleep on the agility and balance upgrade, which is huge. And for that reason, I'm actually going to put him at the end of S tier. Let's compare Walker gold to his upgraded card, right? So gold, 66 balance, 66 agility, 69 balance, killer, right? Look at this, plus 17 and plus 12, up to 83 agility, 81 balance, whilst getting boosts everywhere else as well. 6 foot as well. Just a great solid defensive right back. Very underrated. Only 130k for a Premier League Man City English right back as well. Definitely worth the coins. But anyways, guys, let's have one last check through the list. So we're starting off, obviously the team of the years are at the top. Then Marquinhos. All these center backs are great. Delaney Smith is all the best left backs in the game. Des, probably the best right back in the game after Team of the Year Hakimi and Sule Walker. Just great cards. Looking at A tier, I mean, Koulibaly and Militao has a great cards. Then you get a bit of like kind of standard. All these cards are like your kind of standard meta defenders. All of these will do. You can kind of switch out anybody for anybody in this kind of range. Pretty solid. Then you get down to kind of Regulion, and from then on it's a bit average. I think Cancelo should actually go up a little bit, give him a little boost in the ranking. I think that left back card is quite good, a little bit underrated. But these cards are getting a bit average. Then you get B tier, you get very average cards. If you're still using these B tier cards, you're definitely behind the curve and you're gonna struggle a lot against a lot of teams nowadays. And then if you're using C and D tier cards, you're in a lot of trouble and a world of pain. But anyways, guys, if you did enjoy today's Defender tier list, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, nearly at 17k, and I'll catch you guys next time.